Good morning, everybody. We are headed back down to the river this morning, and I wanted to show you guys how I go about fishing a flooded river. And as you can tell, if you've watched other videos of me coming down to the spillway, you know that this creek that flows through here really isn't this deep most of the time. We've had so much rain that I would say the river is probably up 4 or 5 feet from where it normally is. It is just crazy high right now. And I'm just going to show you kind of how I go about fishing a flooded river and tips and tricks that might help you catch more bass. As you can tell, this is normally not underwater, but we're going to set our stuff over here and show you what we're working with. So the very first bait I like to use when I'm fishing in a muddy situation, or anytime the water is really high, and you can use this wintertime through summer, you know, year round, and that is that black and blue jig. And we're just going to be using a bitsy bug jig since we're using medium power rods. You know, if I were fishing a bait caster or something like that, I would go up to a bigger jig. All right, let's get these lines wet and see what we can catch. All right, we're going to start out with this green pumpkin. Should be able to do pretty good with this one. And hopefully you like this footage we've been getting from the spillway. You know, I love coming down here to the spillway just because I can get on so many fish. But the issue we've been running into is I think we're running out of good fish to get on, because we've just caught so many. All right, we got one right here. First cast of the day, and we got us a pretty good one right here. This might be a really good one. Yep, this is a pretty decent one right here. Definitely no PB, but it's a good one. Look at that dude right there, man. He just smashed that jig. Oh yeah. Dude, he's thick though. Look how tall this dude is. Man, that is a beautiful smallmouth right here. Good gosh. Gorgeous fish. All right, this is a beautiful smallie right here. Look at the stripes on this thing and how thick it is. It is just thick from the bottom to the top. I haven't seen a smallie looking like that in a long time. This dude just smashed that jig. I knew old green pumpkin would be a good choice of color this morning. But he smashed that thing. He liked it. All right, let's get this dude back in the water. There we go. That's a fish. He's not that big, but he is a fighting good. I'll play with him a second. Ate the wrong jig this morning. Ooh, right in the tongue. He's a little bloody, but I don't think he's hurt too bad. All we did is his tongue's bleeding pretty bad, but that's about it. Could be some stuff right under this tree. Never know. I think we're gonna go green pumpkin. I'm gonna throw up under these trees. There we go. It's a rock bass. No, it's smaller. Well, Saw something be hanging out right there, and sure enough, little dude. Dude choked it. So the fish aren't going to be able to stay out in the current like they normally would because the water is just so rough. So they're going to look for areas like this eddy right here that we're fishing. And with this little jig, all I'm doing is kind of just dragging it across the bottom, hopping it, popping it, just like I would any other Texas rig, Ned rig, anything like that. Mainly just mimicking a crawl. Yeah, this is super flooded. God, all this is underwater. Really don't even have a place to put my rods. Put this on the side somewhere. All right, so we have another kind of a eddy that doesn't have a lot of water kind of coming through it here. So it should be nice and calm for these bass if we're looking to get out of that heavy current. There we go. This one feels good. Let's get him over to the side. Man, feels good. Oh yeah. Pretty good smallie right here. Oh yeah. Pretty good sized little toad this morning. Man, he is a pale color. Wow. I almost thought this one was like a spotted bass when I first pulled it in. He was really pale. All right, so he was sitting right there where I thought he was going to be sitting, and this dude's probably about 16 inches. Something's been nibbling on his tail. This is a pretty good little bass here. I just can't believe how pale this one is. Beautiful smallie though. All right, we're gonna get this dude back in the water. Old muddy river bass fishing. And he was just sitting right behind this little tree right here. Trying to get out of that current. All right, we're gonna pack up and we're gonna hit some other spots. This is gonna be hopefully our last stop. If we can get on some. I'm gonna wade through the moccasins this morning. Try to get over here to an area that we can actually fish. I don't know how that's gonna happen. I'm hoping it's cold enough that the snakes aren't out and about this morning. My luck, want to latch onto my freaking face going through these trees. It's just my luck. I think we should be able to maybe wade down the side of the bank here. We got some nice cover right here. I think I'm gonna try to flip into. There we go. Little rock bass. Someone's got a hold of this dude. He wanted a black and blue jig though. Man, something has tore into this guy. So we have a bunch of bald eagles and stuff here too. And you know, they tear up the fish. Man, this dude has just got demolished almost. I'll cast up this little bank line. See if I can pull it back and get anything. It's pretty shallow up through here. Yeah, we should be able to kind of work on our way on down by wading. Right here would be a pretty good place to spawn, but you know, this probably wasn't underwater a day or so ago. So that right there was, you know, fish are smart. They're not gonna usually spawn where they think the water isn't going to hold level. It just wouldn't make sense for them. So you got a sneak peek here. I've been fishing this for a little bit, but I haven't caught it on video or anything yet. But I did get this Ugly Stick carbon rod. And this rod is just awesome. I'm loving it so far. I love the design where it tightens down here. That way you can really use the most of the space up here on the foregrip. But this thing is just awesome. I'm loving it. So expect a review probably in the upcoming weeks. I'm gonna have to gather some more footage and stuff of me actually using this rod, but this thing is just awesome so far. So a little sneak peek right there. So one of my tactics today was gonna be to kind of nail the grass lines and stuff, because the other day I noticed the bass were really tucked into the grass pretty hard. But that was before all the flooding and all that. But you know, this might present a pretty good little scenario here. I could definitely see bass, you know, choosing an area like this. But for fishing any type of water that's muddy and stuff like this, you know, if you just use a dark colored bait, you can usually do pretty good. And with the spawn going on right now, they hate bluegill because bluegill will eat their eggs. So this right here could also mimic a bluegill swimming by their beds. And if that's the case, a lot of times they'll go ahead and attack that bluegill and ambush it. So, you know, this black and blue jig can really be beneficial. That's probably a little bit too big of a splash right there, but sometimes that gets their attention. Smallies at least. Sometimes the largemouth, that'll scare the crap out of them. Oh my god. I went to hook set and this dude just came flying plumb out of the water. Good God. You choked it. All right, dude. You've been bit on too. Probably them gar trying to eat these things. Hard to tell. There we go. We got something. This might be a pretty good one right here. Oh, decent. Another smallie, man, they are pale. Real pale this morning. And I kind of set the hook and it went way in. Look at that dude. Crushed that black and blue jig. Man, I can't believe how pale these things are. Maybe they definitely spawning. What's up, dude? Well, I'm glad you hit the jig. You know what? You made my day. Glad you hit the jig. All right, maybe we'll cast back in there again. I'm just kind of working it slow right there behind that little tree. You know, I love to fish a big jig because, you know, the little ones can't eat it. Little ones can't eat it, and the big ones, they definitely can. So it kind of, you can kind of weed out the small ones in that way and only focus on those big ones. This is what we're looking for right here. This is a good place right behind this root ball. The water is actually flowing back up. So I'm whispering right now so I can be a little on the stealthy side. Yeah, the water's actually going back upstream, kind of like in an eddy. And I guess this is kind of like an eddy. gonna vertically jig this thing a little bit. There we go. We catch up with this fish. This is good. At least he felt good. That's a pretty one right here. Yeah. Beautiful bass. That beautiful smallie. But still got some growing to do. Putting the old ugly stick to the test this morning. I was able to pull down into the flooded part. We got a little rock bass. What's up, Rocky? It's funny, when you put your thumb in their lip, they start twitching even more. It's real funny. Look at that. Bombs away. We need more smallmouth. No more Rockies. Oh my God. Maybe I set the hook a little too hard on that one. Snapped it right off. Fish had it too. Bloody hell. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Bloody. All right, we're gonna get us another black and blue jig out. You see, I got quite a few in here. Not near as many as I got green pumpkin, but this one I have I think a Yum Critzy Crawl trailer on here. And it's not a full crawl, it's been cut down to size. But this right here goes to show you, just like the other spots, that when you're fishing water that is really high, flooded rivers and things like that, go look for those areas where the fish can get out of that current. And right down through here, they're kind of tucked in the bank line. They're on that current seam. They're not actively in that current. When they're out there in the current, they have to expel more energy to kind of swim. And they're not wanting to do that. And especially during the spawn right now, they're definitely not going to want to go out there and expel more energy. So they're definitely going to stay up here in the shallows. They're going to stay in where they feel comfortable. I've always wondered what it would be like to catch that fish like that. Here we got a pretty good one. He was fighting good, whatever his thing. He's a smallie. Look at that dude. He'll take off swimming. Oh, he kind of hung up on a stick here. Take off swimming, bud. No, he ran out of energy. We'll pull him up. All right, a little small one. Oh, snap, there's a belly flop. All right, everybody, I hope you like this video on how to get on those bass when your river ends up getting flooded. And you can see, this is just like a parking area right now, and it's completely underwater. I had to park the truck over here, and it's still kind of in the water, but man, we still got on some of them today, and we only had about an hour and a half to come down here and fish, and we pulled out quite a few for that amount of time. And like I said, using those black and blue bitsy bug jigs or any type of jig or anything that has some dark color contrast to it where the fish can actually see it when you're pulling it through the water is going to be key here. And just finding some of those areas that don't have a lot of current in it and just throwing your bait in there and retrieving it back, guys, is going to help you a lot. All right, if you like this kind of stuff, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel as well. We'd love to have you, and thanks for checking this out.